What's up, everyone? Showtime Doctor here. So I finally managed to beat both Annihilations. The latter one, though, I had to use a friend, Silver Ash. I figure whenever Lapland pops up in the shop, Lapland's basically the lesser tier version of Silver Ash. Once I get him worked up, I should be able to clear that, no problem. But right now, I'm going to show you guys, I did manage to get the first Annihilation on farm status here, so show you guys what I'm working with. And that way we can do the auto. Now, real quick, I'll do a quick explanation, then we'll do more as we're watching. But Exu, just best at what she does, killing things. Ito, really good AoE healer. Hoshi has some really fun, you know, people beating themselves on her thorns, which is pretty fun. Platinum, I actually end up using her usually to cover large spaces of maps because she just has that range, so it's pretty good. Not the best range in the game, but pretty good as well. Shira, gave her a second skill so that she could snare. Shira, arguably, I would say probably, if not the best 4-star unit, she's definitely up there because I even ended up kicking out Lava because Shira's AoE damage, even considering Lava's 3-star stuff, is just completely crazy on another level. Texas, along with Siege, they're technically the best vanguards in the game. They'll get you lots of CP. Texas also has an AoE stun that I really enjoy. Gumi, she's only ranked, I believe it's B rank on the defender list. It might even be C rank, but hey man, she can heal herself, she can heal units around her, and she also has a defense buff, so don't see what's not to like there. Blocks 3 as well. Pram, a lot of people told me not to use Pram, but Pram with Exu is just ownage. She can lower defense as well as resistance, so when that happens, plus the range that she covers is actually really good, but when that happens, you pop Exo's skill at the same time. Even those high armor dudes, Exo just shreds like they're nothing. Amiya, everyone has Amiya, so you know what she's bringing to the table. Pretty good spell damage considering. Shaw, he's just blowing dudes off the top part of the map the whole time. And then Perfumer, I had a couple choices between my healers because I don't have any of the top healers, but I went with Perfumer. She's another AoE healer. But Perfumer's thing is, she has a skill that basically does a regen for all the units on the map. I think it's like 3 or 4% of her attack, which is really good in those poison maps, which is one of the condition maps that they have on a lot of the farming stages. So I'll show you guys. I'll talk you through what I was doing because this is just going to be the replay. I'll talk you guys through what I was doing, what I was thinking, where I was going, and all that. As soon as we get there. But the Annihilations, in my opinion, they're actually kind of the funnest maps to figure out overall, and they reward you very well, so. Right here, I'm just setting up. Now, what I normally do with my Vanguards, if I'm allowed to, is I have them focus the same area, and then there's Shira right there to kill things. And it's funny, because Shira's first skill, which I do also use sometimes, you can actually have it so that she's hitting 2 additional squares away as far as her range goes, because her range is right there. So she would be 2 squares farther, she'd be right here, and then have her arc be right here. So fairly ridiculous, but I did want to have her slow just for this one here. So you see Shaw, he's up there. He doesn't really need to be up there right now. You could wait until like 100 something, I believe, but he's just up there because I figure why the hell not deploy him. Now this is as far forward as you're going to see any of my characters get here. Because this is actually a fairly dangerous area even with a healer, just because of all the pretty heavy damage casters, and especially those dumb snipers that they spawn late in the map. There's a Perfumer. You can see her Perfumer thing going off. So like if you notice anyone take like a little bit of damage, they're going to regen it. That's out of her range. But it's going to be a little while. So basically, what I'm doing there, that's Texas is done. It gives 10 DP, so that's why I'm just using it on cooldown whenever I see it. You don't really need it for a while in this map. There's Exu right here, Miss Sniper, and then this is going to be Pito. So Pito's up here just basically to make sure that, which I ended up not really needing that much, but just to make sure that, get her name now, but Miss Cook Girl stays up. And this is pretty much what I'm going to be going through for... I go through with this combo until, like, I think late 100, early 200. Now, in this game, it's actually recommended that you're kind of constantly, you switching out units, because I'm at my unit limit right now. But I still got 3 left over, so... As the different mobs and the spawn patterns and stuff change, I should actually be looking to... Like, okay, this will be more optimal here, but I need to protect that person, so I'll put someone here, and yada yada yada. And then also with the fact that the last unit that you put on, like in a certain area, they will be the first one targeted by any type of range attack. So it is frequently good practice. That's one of the reasons you saw I put Shaw down before I put the tank down, because I want the tank to soak up everything. You see Shaw just knocking people into the abyss there. So eventually what I like to do on these maps is get a CP pool of at least 300. That's what I'm going for right now. Because the going's easy at the beginning, easier than it's going to be towards the late game. So you're trying to make the most of your CP generation, and then once you're done with that, I usually take at least one of the vanguards and I get rid of them, or I move them, or possibly they die. Whatever happens there. Little red arrows are kind of pinpointing where things are going to go. Now, I've had a couple people ask me about Shaw, or basically anyone that has any type of movement effect. So a push, a pull, what have you, a knockback. There are ways, actually, that you can knock over the highest armor / highest weight units in this game. But unfortunately, it involves a very high-level Angelica. I believe she has to be at least rank 2. I forget what it is. I don't have her myself. I've just heard it described to me. But Angelica, or is it Angelina? Maybe I got the wrong name. But basically, she can lower the weight of a unit that she's around. So even like the dudes with like the big riot shields or whatever the heaviest people in the game are, if you have Shaw with his max push, or whoever with their max pull, and then have Angelina in the same atmosphere, area of effect, however you want to call it, you can take those guys and Shaw can just like blow them out the water. Now, that is an awful lot, because you're probably going to need at least a tank or a healer on that side as well to hold the unit in place. In most cases, maybe not all the time, and there's an active component to it as well, but it is possible you can just straight up knock dudes off the map. And then I have seen a couple of meme pictures, which is pretty funny. Maybe you guys saw it too, where that Skull Shatterer, she's like the first or second boss in the normal campaign. She has like a very particular way that she walks around, right? And eventually she keeps walking by the exit, and then eventually she goes for the exit to get out. But a couple people figured out that you can set up, was it Shaw, and who's the other person? I forget, the one that pulls with the chain. I forget his name. I use him on map 2. But anyways, so they have this meme picture of Shaw. Skull Shatterer's going for the exit, and then the dude with the chain like freaking whips her across the exit, and then Shaw's waiting right there and just blows her back down, and then she walks real slow the long way back, and then they just keep doing the same thing, and they basically solo her. It's actually one of the funniest things I've ever seen. So right here we got the ranged attackers. These guys are throwing like the little Molotov cocktails or fire bombs or whatever. Oh, and then also you want to have a pretty good spread of range damage. So you see I got one right here and then right here, so that the flyers, as they try to make their way over here, it's not going to work. Now, one of the issues I was having, and one of the reasons I was kind of thinking I probably should have had her with her range upgrade, you see all this damage that they're doing to Pram right here. Whenever they come out in packs of 4, that's actually going to get her killed later in the map. I believe it's twice. You know, even with the healer standing right next to her. I mean, Perfumer's still fairly low. There she goes the first time. But sometimes, it's just the way it is. Pram's like, she's not known for her defense, is the easiest way to say it. So You even see here, I'm pretty much like, oh, okay, I just barely saved Texas. Okay, Texas is done now, so let her go. Because the good part about those guys that do ranged attacks is if you have someone in their atmosphere or in their range, they slow down, so you got more time to barrage them. But because my only firepower on the bottom is Shira, you know, it leaves a little bit to be desired there, unfortunately. Would have been nice to have her range upgrade. But you see, Shira's freaking tearing things up. I like these casters with like the floating debris. I like the other ones though with the big shield over them. It's pretty awesome. Alright, so you see up here I've actually deployed Platinum. Now Platinum, her rank 2, you see her with the full bar. That basically makes it so that her range expands even though her attack speed reduces slightly, but she gets that extra 60%. So you see her range there. She can basically barrage anybody in the bottom couple rows here. Works out pretty good. And then now we got the big dudes coming out the top right part here, so even with 2 bursts, Shaw still can't get him down most of the time. But that's alright, because we got a healer up here. And then I've also had to put Amiya up here, because Amiya is going to do the most damage out of all the casters I got. Any heavy armor unit, and I really need well, I just don't have the... Even if I wanted to, like, I could put Exu right here, and I could put Pram right here instead of her, and then just put her down here. But I like having that extra firepower, because the majority of the trash mobs slash semi-beefy mobs are coming from the bottom, and we're not really having an issue up top, if you notice, with the health. So it works out. Now the good part about Shao being up there is he will still blow the casters off. Pretty nice. Casters, they do AoE damage, so anyone that's standing right next to anybody else, they'll be in trouble. But luckily, once you get to a certain level, you can pretty much heal through most of it as long as there aren't like a billion casters or some other type of damage. There's Hoshi working it. Caster leader hype. So you see here, I pretty much have... She's done for right there. And unfortunately, if I had that range upgrade, she could be pelting them that whole time, but... I'm waiting to use her ability. Her ability, for those who don't know, throws a glaive, movement speed minus 25, extra attack damage, and it spins for a while. Now that I'm using it, slowing down a little bit, because we're pretty much coming up on the last rush here. Top's holding steady. It's kind of unlucky anyone who decides to run this way, because they're getting pelted by Platinum and freaking Shira. It's hilarious. They bring a Perfumer, just for the extra heal and the distraction, because you know there's going to be a bunch of casters. Oh look, it's Skull Shatter. Oh wait, is it Crown Slip? Oh, that's weird. That's Skull Shatter. Maybe she's just different in this mode, I don't know. There she goes. Remember how she used to be kind of hard once? And then now we're just cleaning up, so... I'm looking at the total here, and I'm thinking, okay, I might as well use Xy's skill, because when you do her skill, she shoots 4 times in a row. Just has that ridiculous deeps. Maybe I didn't use it. Well, there you go. So that's how that one worked out for me. As soon as I get an auto clear up for the next map, I'll shoot you guys that as well. And I try to do this once a day just to get the reward, because you get a, you know, you're trying to get to the weekly limit of your, what's it, Ori, whatever. Orundum. So you're trying to get to a weekly limit of that, and everything else is decent. I kind of miss getting those achievement things. I wish that was a weekly thing, but if it was a weekly thing, that would be a lot of currency. For those wondering what I'm talking about, right? Yeah. When you defeat all these enemies for the first time, you get all this extra stuff, and it's like really freaking good, man. Good. And you want it so much, especially when you start to have the money crunch. But anyways, guys, that's what's going on with me. Real quick, I'll show you guys what I'm working on my team. And my, actually, let me just operate. Bit easier to show. Now, I've found it very important in this game to have a high level and a low, or I shouldn't even say that, a high CP and a low CP variant of pretty much as many of the classes as you can get. So what do I mean by that? Okay, let's take Vanguard. We'll take Vanguard. Actually, level. So Vanguards, you see the ones I've worked on. Now, at the beginning of the game, I had Fang and I had Siege, so that's why Fang's kind of built up here. I haven't actually used Fang in a while. I do bust her out on occasion, though, because sometimes you do need that extra cheap unit. Now, technically, in this game, Siege and Texas right now are the best Vanguards in the game. But, if you look at her, it's 14 to deploy Siege. I haven't gotten that extra copy of her to bring it down by 1, and it's 13 to deploy Texas. So on a map like the XP5 map, I can't consistently run. Well, you sort of can, but you can't run both of them at the very beginning necessarily unless you got a certain setup because it just costs too much. Too much CP for all the other stuff that you need to deal with in that map. So in that case, I actually take this guy because he costs 11 to deploy. Not quite as good, but you know, as long as Vanguards, they're there for the beginning, the middle, and then if they need to hold something, help hold something at the end. So I do have 2 lower cost versions of that. You'll notice she only costs 10 right there, although she's considered a little worse than Courier is. Courier is actually pretty damn good considering how cheap he is to build up, etc. So, and then likewise, let's see, like Sniper, right? I got a couple sniper options as well. You've seen Exu, you've seen Shira, you've seen Platinum. I've actually built up Crows a bit. Crows, for a very long time, up until Platinum hits Elite 2, basically has the same exact damage as Platinum. But also is a lot cheaper to freaking upgrade. Because she's a 3-star. So, like, look at that. To go from a skill 6 to a skill 7. You know, you try to do this on a 4 and 5-star, it's going to take at least 4 materials, 5 materials. So, like, literally, I just gotta go get one of those, which I could make in the freaking shop, or I could do aerial threat if I want. And she's pretty much done. Now, granted, she's gonna have a low ceiling as far as what she can do, but I actually take her to that XP5 map as well, because I can put her up before I can put up any of these guys, because look at what she costs. Freaking 10. Versus if I want Exu or Platinum up, they're both 13. Shira's freaking 24. So it's just like, okay, I need someone to mow down those flying mobs before they get to the exit thing. I just put Crows up, bing, 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 bing. And then once I can get the role covered because I've generated enough CP, okay, I'll take Crows out. I'll put in Shira, I'll put in Exu, I'll put in Platinum, whatever's going on there, so. And likewise, Medic, I just built my second Medic, which you saw, Perfumer. They're not that far from each other. She's 17, I believe. Perfumer's 15. Yeah, but still, that 15 does make a difference on some maps versus those extra 2 CP. That'll allow you to deploy another unit even at some point. Back too far. And then also, another thing to look at, if you notice, the only 1-star in the game worth a damn Lancet, I've built up Lancet. So Lancet, what is it about Lancet that makes this unit that good? Well, the problem is, you see, I'll go over the benefits first. The benefits are, he's only 3 CP. He does not count against the deployment limit, which means even if you're at the deployment limit, you can put this bot down. He'll throw out some heals. He's not the best healer, but he's still throwing out heals. He's still got this little ability heal you can just use as an on-demand AoE heal if that's what's going to keep a unit up in a certain part of the map. Now, the problem with him is he has such low HP that most of those guys that are like the range dudes, if they focus on him, They'll one or two shot them most of the time. So you gotta, if you're gonna put them out, in most cases, you want to put them out early if you expect them to stay there for a while, and then just put out another distraction unit and just hope that no one focus fires him for whatever reason. His range is pretty good, and then the thing that's actually gonna make him is talent up effect. So talent up, what's that mean? Anything that's a talent is going to have its skill enhanced. So in this case, it's the support spray. I'm not sure by how much the talent's going to go up for him, but I've noticed for most people it's like about 10%. So you're thinking like, 220, 300, 300 at max, who cares? It can make a difference. It can make a huge difference with some characters, because like you look at, let's say Perfumer, right? Level 44 star. Max HP 1161. Well, Perfumer's about to go down. I need Perfumer to throw a heal out for the whole group. Bing! Here comes the bot. And then the bad guys are like, that bot pisses me off! And they waste an entire rotation trying to kill the little bot. Meanwhile, Perfumer's gotten off 2 big heals and hopefully healed herself up to at least half by then, along with the big heal that you provided for everyone on the map. So there's little strategy things like that. Accessories, I've worked on them. I've heard Mirror's actually pretty good. Hibiscus actually isn't bad. And then if you're buying people from the friend store, Gavel, you can basically max out Gavel right now, which I haven't bought her every day. Let's see where I'm at with her. Yeah, you can basically max her out now and then get her to a 14 cost deploy, which, hey, if you can max something out and you're getting the friend points for it anyways, I guess you might as well. I actually need to work on that myself. And then let's see here for caster. I don't have too many options on caster. I could build Haze if I want. I could also build Steward if I want. I've heard they're actually not too bad. Amelia, that goes without saying. Even if you have an Ija, Amelia is still a good caster to build up. Lava carried me really early game for AoE damage. That was before I had a Shira. And now it's just like, But the cool part about her is the quick skill usage thing. Immediately obtains 20 plus 5 skills after deploy. So that means that she's going to be ready to rock when her chant thing comes up. Get out that AoE damage a little bit more. And then she's actually really good to run with Doberman as our any 3-star, because Doberman gives all 3 stars once you get her to Elite 1. I think it starts at 5% attack bonus, and it just goes from there. So especially on an AoE year, that's pretty good. But my kingdom for an Ifrit or a freaking Ija, Blue Poison, anyone that can do consistent caster damage, I would love to have right now. Meteorite. Not sure if Meteor is considered that. Guards. I haven't actually worked on my guards too much. Just mentioned Doberman. She's the only elite I got right now. I started to work on Melantha, because I know she's good. And then after her, I'm probably going to work on Estelle, unless I get convinced of using one of these other units. We'll see. Savage, unfortunately, even though Savage is 5-star, not that good. Which is too bad, but the way that goes. Now, Defender is one thing I need to diversify a bit, too. I was looking at it last night, and I was going back and forth. I'm like, okay, I can go Croissant. Croissant's got some good stuff going on. Matterhorn's not terrible. Quar is not terrible. And it's like, like looking at it, still kind of figuring it out, hoping that I draw someone else. Supporter, other than my Prag, I did get Orchid up a little bit. Orchid's good for that slow. Deep Color, I think that's Tentacle Lady, so whatever's going on there. Earth Spirit, I know, has an AoE snare, which I've considered, but it's an AoE snare that's where Earth Spirit's not attacking, so I might as well just use Shira for that right now. And then Specialist, there's not really a tier of Specialist. Shaw's the only one I've promoted. Cliffheart can basically do his job without being promoted. I don't really find a big reason to promote Cliffheart. I do actually want to work on Red a bit more, because Red actually just, you put Project Red down, she beats the living hell out of like a caster or basically someone that's not squishy. And then you take her back up, 17 seconds, you can put her back down again. Ravel's basically the same thing for defense. On-demand defender, I guess is the easiest way to say it. So. And anyways, that's what I got going on with my account, guys. Let me know what you got going on with your account. Still need to build out the base more, still need to upgrade all types of things, but it's working out right now, so that's all I got to say. And that is it for me. So, let me know how the game's going for you. I'll catch you guys later.